Hello. This video, I would like to hit on a topic that's rather controversial. Obviously, God consciousness, I would like to put it. What is God? And there's a lot of questions that needs to be asked. I mean, this is something we shouldn't avoid and say, "Oh God, I don't want to hear this. This is religion," but we need to think about it. I had another video on the evolution of human consciousness in one of my books. Is on this evolution of human consciousness, and so we need to know what it is, and what is our human consciousness. But what's a God consciousness, or what is God? Okay, and so we have to ask questions. That's the main thing, is not to just accept whatever, but we need to just challenge everything, question, and see if it makes sense to you. I mean, if it makes sense to you, and you continue to question, then that's what you want. You don't want anything that you're just being told. Okay, so that's the one of the most important things of human evolution, actually, or consciousness, is to be free and to develop these ideas on our own. So we have to question. Okay, so some of the forms in the past of so-called ways of looking at God or the consciousness or whatever, and it has been things like pantheism. Okay, that's where God and the universe are the same thing, and God's presence is in everything. Okay, and then which doesn't sound so bad, sound threatening. Then paganism is basic definition is very similar to pantheism. It's very much this related. That nature is sacred and humans are part of nature, and that we're connected to nature in some spiritual manner. Okay, and again, that doesn't sound scary or threatening. And then animism, you think, oh, well, animism, that sounds horrible. But it just means that spirits or souls are in all things. So birds have souls, trees even have souls. And, this gets into very different variations, okay, of all of these ideologies, okay. And some of them are that's why you might see groups who say they worship the sun or the some certain animals and different things. So there's a lot of variations of what what they really think. Okay, so it's something you just can't nail down, and this is not something that like thousands of years ago. There's people now, this is their primary, it's how they think about the world and whatnot. Okay, the one variation of pantheism is very interesting. It's called panpsychist pantheism. It's that the universe is not only divine but also conscious or mind-like. Okay, it's with consciousness existing in varying degrees within matter. Okay, so again, that doesn't sound scary. That the divine is within us all, and so I'm not sure. You think about, why did people say just not care for this? Well, not sure. It was about control and power. We'll talk about that later. But then the other side of what is God, or this our spiritual life, or whatever, the whole big question, is the monotheism, and that's the belief in the existence of only one single and all-powerful God who created all reality and should be worshipped. And there's, the main three. There's more than just the three: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. They're from the Abraham family, basically. And these are believe in just, we all know about, but there's many, many variations of each one of these: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Just dozens and dozens of sects and divisions and denominations, or whatever you want to call them. And they believe a little bit different things. And some of them actually believe that there's a connection with nature, and there's that we are one with God and in consciousness, and sort of, pantheistic quite a bit, and there's several, again, Judaism and Islam, they all have variations in which those elements are there. They coexist. But the problem is that the philosophers, or the teachers, the holy men who represents some of these religions, though, they have messages that were meant to change humanity, uplift humanity, their human consciousness, right? To uplift them into love and caring and whatnot. And the problem is the religions have formed all kinds of rules about it, about what God is and what God expects, and so it's not the messenger like Jesus or Muhammad or whoever. It's the people who took the message and just ran with it, and they decided, oh, well, I can create all kinds of laws and make people do this and that and believe the way I want, fits my purpose, whatever. And so that's where we have a problem with some of these type, and then we had, and I've talked again in another video about how the Christians killed just millions, literally, of people. Because pagans were considered to be heretics and heathens. They were just godless, and we could kill them in Europe, you could kill them in Africa, you could kill them in America or whatever, because they did not accept Christ. And according to them, if you didn't accept Christ, then you're worthless, or pretty much type thing. And again, you have to think, wait a minute, let's ask some questions about this stuff. Is that true? I mean, is that really what you believe, that Christians are so superior, and that's what God, what kind of God would say, yeah, I'll just go ahead and just kill millions of people, that's fine. I'm not sure about that myself. But what it's all about is that they want to control the narrative. And I've talked about other videos in my books about how people in power, if it's churches or just people with lots of money, kings, who pretend like they're gods or really think they are gods or whatever, they want to control the narrative. They want you to believe about the world and do what they want you to do, okay? And they control the narrative so they can control your consciousness, our human consciousness. They really want to control it. So is there some sort of common ground between these different all the variations of pantheism and monotheism and on and on? I could make a video for days, literally, just going over and over all the different variations of what people believe. And but there's so many variations that even of the monotheism of there's only one God and created the entire universe. So there's variations in all these kinds of beliefs, but there is common ground. They do are looking for ways to understand. Okay, and there's truth to all. Any kind of religion or there's truth to it. Okay, there's truth to what they're saying and how they believe, and they have a right to develop traditions, and I believe that you should do this and that to be good and whatever, and that's all. It's all valid, and they all are correct. Actually, there's a good. There's some truth to all. What everybody's thinking, because the universe is a whole lot more complex than any of us really understand. Okay. And so you ask, well, what is the goal of human consciousness? And again, I've talked about this. This is a important issue of that the human consciousness needs to transform to God consciousness during our evolution. That's our evolutionary process, is that we need to move from the egocentric to the God-centric, or the other-centric, if you want to put it that way, to thinking about others, to caring about others, and there's a frequency level related to emotions. And when you have hate, you have a low frequency level that you emit to the universe. And love consciousness is the highest, and your frequency level gets higher, and that's what we want to reach. So God consciousness needs to manifest into the physical world, and that will become our new human consciousness when that happens. So we need a new narrative. The new narrative is that we're all one, and that we love everyone unconditionally. That's the new narrative, okay? Because it doesn't matter if you're agnostic or atheist, or if you're, different religions or not, it doesn't matter. We need to realize we're all one. This was the message of Christ. And, I admit I was a Jesus freak back in the 60s and 70s, okay? Started out Baptist, went to Catholicism, and then on to others, and then the Quaker Friends is really a good merging between the two. They give it a lot more freedom of thought and whatnot. So there's a lot of variations of ways to look at this. But Christ was the frequency, or you might want to call it, or the energy of love that was to be brought to mankind when he did. And that was his purpose, to bring love to mankind for everyone, unconditional love, not just for a few, every single person. If they were, who cares that he wasn't thinking about what religion you were, if you became a Christian or not. To become a Christian was to love unconditionally. Okay, and that was it. That's the only thing he's asked. And so we created all these crazy rules and competition and division. That's what we've done. We divided ourselves into groups. And that's all we need. That's the old message is we're superior, we're better, we're different, and we can fight each other, kill each other, and all this stuff. No, you can't do that. No, that's not the message. We're all one, and Christ was the one that brought that in. Religions Christian religions have destroyed some of that message completely, and it's very sad. And I would like to see that changed, because I look at the Trinity as Father is freedom, Jesus was love, and the Holy Ghost is joy. So that's where this whole movement I am working on is called Freedom, Love, Joy. And I hope you have liked this presentation, and hope you'll join me. Right. Bye.